Mr. Paul Pretorius, the head of the legal team, will let everybody know what's going to happen today and in the next few days in terms of witnesses that will be called. But I would like to open with a few remarks in relation to the commission. As we all know, this commission was formally appointed on the 25th of January 2018 by way of a proclamation number 3 of 2018, published in the Government Gazette of 25 January 2018. Its background is well known to all of us. It was appointed pursuant to the remedial action taken by the public protector in terms of her report styled State of Capture, which was confirmed by the judgment of the North Gauteng High Court. As we all know, the report of the public protector was released in October 2016, and the judgment of the North Gauteng High Court was delivered in December 2017, and this commission was appointed in January. It is necessary to talk about the scope of the investigation that will be conducted by this commission. Its scope is to be found in the terms of reference, in the terms of reference which were published in the Government Gazette to which I have just referred. This is necessary to remind everybody what this commission is about, and to remind all concerned too about the kind of information or evidence that will be relevant to the investigation of this commission, so that people who have that information or that evidence may come forward and give the commission information that is relevant to its terms of reference. The terms of reference of this commission are to the effect that this commission was appointed to investigate matters of public and national interest concerning allegations of state capture, corruption, and fraud. The terms of reference have 9 paragraphs or clauses which set out the scope of the investigation of the commission. They read as follows. 1, the commission shall inquire into, make findings, report on, and make recommendations concerning the following, guided by the Public Protector's State of Capture report, the Constitution, relevant legislation, policies, and guidelines as well as the order of the North Gauteng High Court of 14 December 2017 under case number 91139/2016. 1.1, that is the following that I've just referred to. Whether and to what extent and by whom attempts were made through any form of inducement or for any gain of whatsoever nature to influence members of the National Executive, including deputy ministers, office bearers, and/or functionaries employed by or office bearers of any state institution or organ of state or directors of the boards of SOEs. In particular, the Commission must investigate the veracity of allegations that former Deputy Minister of Finance, Mr. Mcebisi Jonas, and Ms. Mentor were offered cabinet positions by the Gupta family. 1.2, whether the President had any role in the alleged offers of cabinet positions to Mr. Mcebisi Jonas and Ms. Mentor by the Gupta family as alleged. 1.3, whether the appointment of any member of the National Executive, functionary and/or office bearer was disclosed to the Gupta family or any other unauthorized person before such appointments were formally made and/or announced, and if so, whether the President or any member of the National Executive is responsible for such conduct. 1.4, whether the President or any member of the present or previous members of his National Executive, including deputy ministers or public officials or employee of any state-owned entities, SOEs, breached or violated the Constitution or any relevant ethical code or legislation by facilitating the unlawful awarding of tenders by SOEs or any organ of state to benefit the Gupta family or any other family, individual, or corporate entity doing business with government or any organ of state. 1.5, the nature and extent of corruption, if any, in the awarding of contracts, tenders to companies, business entities, or organizations by public entities listed under Schedule 2 of the Public Finance Management Act, number 1 of 1999, as amended. 1.6, whether there were any irregularities, undue enrichment, corruption, and undue influence in the awarding of contracts, mining licenses, government advertising in the New Age newspaper, and any other governmental services in the business dealings of the Gupta family with government departments and SOEs. 1.7, whether any member of the National Executive, and including deputy ministers, unlawfully or corruptly or improperly intervened in the matter of the closing of banking facilities for Gupta-owned companies. 1.8, whether any advisors in the Ministry of Finance were appointed without proper procedures, in particular, and as alleged in the complaint to the Public Protector, whether 2 senior advisors who were appointed by Minister Des van Rooyen to the National Treasury were so appointed without following proper procedures. 1.9, the nature and extent of corruption, if any, in the awarding of contracts and tenders to companies, business entities, or organizations by government departments, agencies, and entities. In particular, whether any member of the national executive, including the president, public official, functionary of any organ of state, influenced the awarding of tenders to benefit themselves, their families, or entities in which they held a personal interest. Those are the terms of reference of this commission, which may be amended, varied by the president, should he consider it necessary to do so. It will be clear from the terms of reference of this commission that the scope of its work is wide, and that there is a lot of work that the commission needs to do. Today is only the first day of the first session of the hearings. There will be other sessions. We are hoping that we are going to have another session before the end of the year, and then we will have further sessions in the new year. As you know, over the past few months, the Commission has been hard at work trying to ensure that it can start its work and it would be ready for hearings as soon as possible. We are able to start today and deal with certain matters this week and in the next few weeks. We believe this session could take 3 weeks, but there is a possibility, depending on a number of things, that it could take up to 4, 5, or 6 weeks. Then there will be an adjournment, and we will then have another session before the end of the year. While the hearings are going on, the work of the Commission will be continuing by way of investigators. But I need to talk about some of the challenges that we have had as a Commission. You will be aware that in the previous media briefing, I alluded to the fact that we did have certain challenges in the process of security clearance, which is done by the State Security Agency. And I indicated then that this Security State Agency had not been able to meet our expectations and requests in terms of an expeditious processing of security clearance. I indicated at that time that I was going to be writing to the president to ask him to intervene, because previously he had indicated to me that if there were challenges, I should approach him. I did write to the president, and that was at the beginning of August. I think the letter was dated 1st of August. That letter was delivered. At this stage, or as of Thursday, the report I got was that there is not much that the state security agents had done in terms of expediting the security clearance processes. At this stage, if there's anything that has happened since then, it might have happened over the weekend or Friday over the weekend, but we, as far as I know, we still have that challenge. And I hope that this will be resolved pretty soon, because we have already lost a long time. Already when we had the media briefing, we had quite some time when we were expecting the state security agents to fast-track some of these processes. We are hoping that it will be resolved, because the work that the Commission needs to do is urgent. We are constantly asked how far we are, and I have a team that is working day and night to try and make sure that the work of the Commission is given the urgent attention that it deserves. But the fact of the matter is that a commission such as this depends to a very large extent on government departments for certain things. It depends on the cooperation of government departments for many things. At this stage, there are ministers that we have had to deal with, and at ministerial levels, those that we have dealt with have been very supportive, have been very cooperative, but sometimes there are challenges with regard to officials. We have had some delays also in the dealings of the Commission with the National Treasury over the past few months, so much so that on 2 occasions I've had to ask the Minister of Finance to intervene so that there could be progress. And on 2 occasions, on each occasion that I've asked the Minister of Finance, he has given the Commission full cooperation, he has been supportive, and he intervened successfully so that progress could be made. We have those challenges. We hope that all concerned, including officials in various government departments, appreciate that this Commission needs full and proper cooperation from all of them. Indeed, the terms of reference of the Commission, as well as the regulations, make it quite clear that government departments must give full cooperation to this Commission. We are going to continue to do the best that we can, but I thought it was important to mention that for certain things, we really have to depend on other people. A few weeks ago, we issued a public notice where we invited the public, anyone who has information that is relevant to our investigation, who has evidence of allegations of state capture and corruption and fraud relating to the work that we are doing, having regard to the terms of reference, to come forward and give that information to the Commission. The response has not been what we were expecting. The response has been quite disappointing. I would like to take this opportunity to once again ask the public to please, if they have information, to come forward. We are everybody wants this Commission to finish this job as soon as possible. But obviously, if it is to do its job properly, it needs to have information. And we all know that there are many people out there who know and who have evidence and who know some of the things that were happening. But if they don't come forward, that doesn't help this Commission, and that doesn't help this country. This Commission is an opportunity for all of us in this country to play a role, to contribute to finding a solution to 2 very important issues to us as a nation. 1, corruption; 2, state capture. And of course, for purposes of this Commission, the 2 are linked. State capture, if the allegations that we are going to investigate are proven to be true, includes individuals who may have decided that they would want to be able effectively to make decisions that should be made by constitutionally appointed functionaries of the state. That is something very serious. That is something that should not be allowed, and that's part of the reason why there is this commission. People in municipalities, people in provincial governments, people in national government, do they not have any information? Public representatives who serve in different capacities, members of the executive, national, provincial, do they not have any information? We urge all South Africans who love this country to come forward and assist this commission in order that we may resolve this problem. In conclusion, I just want to say the team attached to the commission and all the staff of the commission have worked very hard for us to be where we are today. If one compares the time taken by other commissions from the time they were appointed to the time they started having their first hearings, we are not doing badly. We have also done reasonably well, and it's because of the hard work of the legal team, officials of the commission, despite the delays that have happened, mainly because of the cooperation and support that we need from government departments. Thank you.